YouTube, what's up? It's your boy Scott. Blue Jay Tactical here, first thing in the morning. Headed into the office. Wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you guys about the reason why I carry a Glock, concealed carry for personal protection. Really quick, there's a lot of talk out there about how heavy the trigger pull is on the Glock system. For me, that's the most important part of carrying concealed is having a dependable trigger. Now, the weight of it is the big discussion, and I get it. If you shoot a Canic or a CZ or Staccato, some of these other high-end guns, you'll see that, and I'm not calling the Canic a high-end gun, but it does have a sought-after trigger, which is real. It's a great trigger. If you've ever shot one, and if you haven't, go to your local gun store and squeeze one, just to get a feel for it. A super light trigger, as is the trigger on all those other guns that I mentioned. But with the Glock, you have something different. And I don't think people understand really how valuable and how important that trigger is. So think about this, you've got a 1911 style gun that's got a hammer in it. A lot of guys will carry that cocked and locked, as they call it, which is basically putting one in the chamber. You cock the hammer back and then you put the safety on. So then when you draw the gun from concealment or from your holster, whatever the case may be, you on your press out, you release the safety, and you have a very light trigger pull. That's great, okay? But that's just an overview of how that system works. Striker fire guns, some have safeties, Smith & Wesson, some of the other ones, there's a few out there, you can check into that. They have safeties on them, and in order to engage that safety, you have to do the same exact thing pretty much, but you need to keep one in the chamber. So you have to rack around, put it in your holster, and engage the safety. And then when you draw from concealment, you have to release the safety, and then once you release the safety, the gun is fireable, if that's a word. All right, so then you can handle business. Now, the Glock, on the other hand, does not have a safety. It's got a couple internal safeties. It's also got a trigger safety. But the biggest safety, in my opinion, is the trigger pull. And so here's the word that I've kind of attached to the Glock system, and it's called intentional. The Glock trigger is an intentional trigger pull. What do I mean by that? Well, you meant to pull the trigger when you pull a Glock trigger. There's no accident, because when you hit the wall, you've got 5 to 6 pounds of pressure that you have to go through in order to engage that trigger. So it's very difficult to just reach in there and just pull that trigger back. It has to be intentional. And with that being said, that's what I find to be, for me, the most important part of the Glock system. We could talk about the grip angle and all that other stuff in another video, because I feel like that's important as well. It serves its purpose, and a lot of folks don't understand the purpose of the grip angle, but we can talk about that on another video. By the way, Glock does not sponsor me. I don't have anything to gain from this other than just passing on my opinion. So back to that intentional trigger pull. So as an instructor, when I teach my students, they bring in their guns, and I'm saying, hey, if we get in a gunfight, and the odds of that happening are very low, but if you get in a gunfight, I'm hoping I got a Glock on my hip, because if there's cops around and we're all fighting for our lives, I can almost guarantee you there's going to be several other people in the room with a Glock magazine that'll go in my gun if I run dry. Likewise, you can do the same for a police officer. If you've got a 9mm magazine, whether you're carrying a 1917, the slimline 43X and the 43 and the 48, I don't know if they're going to have that, but they're probably going to have some sort of Glock double stack magazine. And if you've got one and they run out, guess what? So one of the reasons why I push Glocks on my students, because number one, the police depend on them. There's a lot of military forces that depend on them. I have friends in the industry that depend on them. And so that's my take on it. But the intentional trigger pull is the biggest piece of the puzzle, especially when you're concealed carrying. You know, if you're worried about your kids, buy a safe, put them away. Don't put any ammo in them. Hide the ammo. Do something, but be responsible. But you definitely want to teach them how to properly handle a gun. You want to teach them how to unload it. Make sure that they understand that it is loaded. If there is a magazine in it, how to identify that there's a round in the chamber. Can they clear it? You know, all these things are relative. My kids learned quickly, and now they respect what it is. It's not a toy. It's a thing that can harm you, but it's no different than a knife. You can pick up a knife backwards and cut your hand. They understand that. They learn that early. So it's the same thing with the firearm. Teach them young, they'll understand, they'll respect it. But anyway, I'm ranting again. Back to this intentional trigger pull. So what I want you to see is this gun is clear. This trigger pull is intentional. See that? I'm at the wall. When I squeeze through that wall, that is intentional. Listen, this is Blue Jay Tactical. I want you guys to understand that I am here to just help and provide as much information as I can. The Glock system is proven. It might not be the prettiest gun, but in my opinion, it's one of the prettiest guns. I love the shape of the gun. But, you know, choose your weapon or your firearm with all of these things taken into consideration. Do you want to carry around a 3-pound or a 2-pound trigger for concealed carry? What are the odds of that trigger accidentally being pulled? My concealed carry gun has an intentional trigger pull. If I pull this firearm out to defend myself, I'm going to defend myself with an intentional trigger pull. I meant to protect myself. I meant to protect my family. So there you have it. So that's going to end my rant this morning. We're going to start something new for 2023. You guys will see me a lot. Like and subscribe. Please comment down below if there was something I said in there that interests you or something that helps you. Either way, I'm here and I'll be back again. Blue Jay Tactical. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.